Yo guys, it's your boy has unfortunately slowly deteriorated back into no trim, Niran here, and we're back once again. Now, today I am giving you my predictions for the new and upcoming Premier League season. This is perhaps the most controversial video you could do in history, but we're doing it today. I don't think I've ever done Premier League predictions before, so I'm new to that. If you're new to the channel, feel free to stick around, slap a like on the video, and subscribe if you're new. And I am very scared that I'm going to get hunted down. Last year, I predicted that Bournemouth would finish in the upper mid-table. I don't have much faith in myself. The other thing I want to say as well is I've got a fantasy football league starting up. So if you want to join that, the code will be in the description. There'll probably be a link as well to auto join, and it'll be on the screen. So yeah, but let's get into this. As per usual with these predictions videos, I'll start from the bottom and I'll work my way up and I'll tell you why I choose each position. So, first of all, look away, fans from West London that aren't Chelsea fans. I'm putting Fulham in 20th position, and I can only apologise for that. What I will say is I like the way they've gone about this transfer window in comparison to the transfer window where they last were promoted. Going out and getting Zambo Anguissa or whatever his name was, and flipping Andre Schürrle and Ryan Babel and bare people, like literally signing about 14 players. The cohesion of the squad is so important when you get promoted. Even if you're a side that doesn't have that much on paper ability, it's important to keep some sort of spine. They didn't do that last time. It seems like they are going to do that this time. Obviously, bear in mind the season hasn't started yet. The transfer window hasn't ended yet, so there's some asterisks here. If Fulham go out and buy maybe 3 more players that fit in the changing room, then this could well change. But the squad they've got now, the signings they've made of Reed, Lamina, who had a bit of mixed fortunes at Southampton beforehand, but showed some promise. And then also Anthony Robinson, who looks like a good player, but coming from Wigan, could be a bit of a gamble. Is he ready for the Premier? They're intelligent signings, but on their own, probably are not going to be enough to keep them in the division. I would say they're going to be pretty reliant on Mitrovic's goals, and even then, in the Championship last season, they didn't score a whole large amount. 19th, unfortunately, I know this is probably, it sounds like a broken record. A lot of other people are predicting the same, but I can't help but feel West Bromwich Albion are going to go down as well in P19. You know what? I like the baggies these days. They're not, I used to think they were really boring, even before the Pulis days, especially in the Pulis days, but it's a bit more of an exciting squad. The signings on a permanent deal of Matheus Pereira and Grady Diangana are sick. Both very exciting, both very skillful, and I hope, honestly, they do well. Another centre-back, another full-back, and probably a central midfielder, and then at that point, I would say, right, you may well actually stay up. Keep an eye on them. I think they could be relatively exciting. I just don't know if they'll have the overall quality to stay in this division. 18th place, though, still getting relegated, and I don't have much faith in the West Midlands, unfortunately. Aston Villa. I know, I just don't see improvement. I do base a lot off transfers sometimes, and maybe I shouldn't. You know, teams can just evolve and get better without that. But traditionally, especially when you're so close to going down, and especially when it was so blaringly obvious that defensively you were in dire issues, to have not strengthened or even look like they're going to strengthen in defense right now as I'm recording this video is very concerning. If it stays like it is, I think they're super reliant on Jack Grealish. What I will say is they were quite unlucky with McGinn getting injured for 3 months last year. But if Grealish ends up out for half a year or 3 months even, or even probably 2 months, they're going down. At least they brought in Matty Cash from Nottingham Forest. They're linked with Ollie Watkins from Brentford. I think that'll be a good signing. But again, like, defensively, going forward, I don't think they're that bad. Honestly, I think they've got some very good players in an attacking sense. Just above that, and honestly, how I wish I could swap this round. I just don't think it'll necessarily happen. West Ham in 17th. There's a part of me, even though that West Ham are a big club with a lot of history of producing young players, that just for their own sake, honestly, want them to get relegated. I think it's a similar situation to Newcastle in the sense that you're only going to get actual change at that club if they're not in the Premier League anymore. And it's really sad because their ownership is awful. How they ended up selling Diangana for 16 million to West Brom is a crime. He's literally their best up-and-coming youth prospect. Would easily be getting in the starting 11 for them next year, and they've sold him to what will probably be a relegation rival. In my opinion, they will just stay up, but again, I'm looking at that through rose-tinted glasses of the personnel they have. They have good players, but they constantly underachieve. Yarmolenko is very good. Lanzini, Wilshere, Sebastian Haller was really poor. Mikel Antonio was keeping him out of the team. And above that, I think there'll be a bit of a split. I don't think we'll have like last year where there was like 6 teams in a relegation battle. I think it'll be the bottom 4, then a gap of at least 4 or 5 points up to the mid-table. So although I put Newcastle in 16th, I don't necessarily think they're going to have a ridiculously bad season. I just think a lot of the teams in that mid-table, they're very interchangeable. The signing of Callum Wilson and Ryan Fraser are getting a lot of attention as being good. I think they could be very good signings. I'm just a bit concerned about how poor Wilson was last year. He's proven he's got experience, he knows the league, and I do kind of believe in him, but equally he was shocking. The position above them, I've gone for Brighton. Again, I wanted to put them higher, really, but I don't know. I'm a bit scared for their manager. I'm a bit scared for Potter, because I think when you're in the mid-table, trying to play nice, expansive football is a really dangerous game. They've got some good players, though. They've made some very clever signings in Lallana, who's got experience and creativity if he can stay fit. Joel Veltman is a really good signing, too. But then they've lost Aaron Moy, who, although wasn't playing all the time for them, seemed like a pretty good player. So, and to me, I think they need a more consistent striker alongside Neil Maupay. So, yeah. And after that, we've got Southampton, another southern side, finishing in the mid-table. They really turned it around amazingly last year after that 9-0. I thought Hausenherzel would be gone. I thought they'd be gone out of the whole league. But they did really well. Danny Ings smashed it for them. I'm a little bit apprehensive as to whether Danny Ings can do that again. Because, I mean, he literally went on a run of scoring in every game for about 9 in a row or something stupid. I love Danny Ings and he's a really good striker. I just don't know if he can do that again. Close to that, probably, but not necessarily that. They need some more attacking options that can provide and help out. Shea Adams hopefully got a little bit of confidence after scoring v Man City right at the end of the year. He's going to need to actually chip in some goals. There's going to need to be goals from elsewhere. But if they've kept Walker Peters, I don't know if they've done that permanently or got him in on loan again. I have no idea. But the potential signing of him and Salisu, who looks very good from Valladolid in Spain, should hopefully shore them up a bit more defensively. Again, mid-table probably. Above that, and you're probably wondering why I haven't actually put them in yet, but Leeds United, I reckon they're actually going to have a pretty banging season back in the Prem. I kind of hope they do. Leeds, Liverpool, I obviously don't like them anywhere near Liverpool or my team if you don't know already. I'm a Liverpool fan, but I get similar vibes from Leeds in terms of just being complete passion merchants, supporters-wise, and what it means to the city and just as a club as well. Being kind of hated by everybody else, I kind of respect it still. So I want them to do well, but equally the signings they've made and the intent that they have, they're not done in the transfer window. Rodrigo, hopefully for them, will be sick. I genuinely think he's going to be a very good signing. Gelhardt from Wigan is a great youngster. Helder Costa is a clever signing as well. So I honestly think they're going to do pretty well. They look as if they've got a decent amount of depth. There's some young players coming through that look all right as well, like Struijk and stuff. Big ups to Dagenham and Redbridge, massive. They probably need 2 more players, and then I'm confirmed that they're there. But even still, I think they'll do very well. Crystal Palace are in P12. I kind of had a bad feeling about them, and I had a bad feeling about Roy Hodgson managerially, like I did with Graham Potter before they signed Eberici Eze and Ferguson. I think those are really, really good signings. Eze as a front 3 alongside Zaha and Jordan Ayew should hopefully perform and provide that creativity and goal-scoring prowess that Palace needed, given they were the 2nd lowest scoring team in the league last year. Zaha had a write-off season because of the way, the style that they play. Maybe a creative midfielder might help them, one that can break through the lines and just provide a bit more for Eze and Zaha in more central positions rather than out wide. But I don't know. They look as if they've done well in the market. Ferguson will be a really sick signing, and I hope they do all right. Kits are tragic, but we move. Burnley, P11. I just don't see them being involved in a relegation battle while Sean Dyche is in charge. Viz said that. She's probably going to sue me for copying his tweet about that. But it is literally true. Like, I just don't see them being in that position. He's an unbelievable manager. They constantly overachieve. It doesn't matter what they do in the window. They still somehow seem to do all right. They haven't actually brought in anyone, really, at all. I think they brought in some youngsters for the under-23 squad. P10, and I've gone for Sheffield United. I think they will have somewhat of a second season syndrome. I think you saw a precursor for that when we came back from COVID and Corona. They were just a different team. They weren't anywhere near as good. The top 4 challenging side, although not scoring enough goals, still looked unbelievable defensively. They didn't look as good defensively. They didn't look as solid when they came back. They've obviously lost Dean Henderson, but brought in Ramsdale. I think Sander Berger will have a really big season for them. I think they just need more goals. They just need a better out-and-out striker. I love people like Lee Musée and Billy Sharp and stuff, but they don't have a striker that I look at and I say, you're guaranteed to score more than 10 goals a season. If they fix that, I think they can challenge for Europe again. As for now, I think they'll just finish comfortably in mid-table, comfortably away from Europe, probably. But big ups Chris Wilder. I think like Dyche, I don't see him being in charge and them being in a relegation battle. I think he is one of the best managers, punch for punch, pound for pound, even that's the phrase, in this league. Above them, but in contrast to that, I'm actually going for Leicester. I'm not sure about them, and I'm not, again, like this is the third manager that I have concerns for in the league. Brendan Rodgers, I'm not entirely sure if he'll still be in the job come the end of the season. I just don't know. Momentum is such a big thing in football. We have had a little bit of a break, especially the clubs that weren't in Europe come the end of the season. 4 or 5 weeks between season end and season start, but it's not like a usual end of season. Everything is just clean slate, move into the next one. You had that with Corona, and honestly, when Leicester came back, they were really poor. Chelsea's run and United's runs and Tottenham's runs were not that great, but they still massively outperformed Leicester. So if the Foxes can't get a hold of that, I think they're going to struggle. If Jamie Vardy has another good season, then sure, but at some point you'd imagine he's going to slow down to some degree. They have obviously got really good players, Maddison and Didi as well. They have lost Ben Chilwell. They brought in Castagna to replace him from Atalanta. Will he be able to do the same job? Who knows? I'm just not sure. I think a lot of other clubs have improved massively around them and they haven't, and the momentum was already pretty low. I think they'll finish points-wise right alongside Sheffield United. P8, and I've gone for Wolves. I want them to finish in Europe. I really, really do, but I don't think they've strengthened in the places potentially that they needed to. They did get very unlucky though last season, so any sort of luck and they'd be higher than they finished last time. Fabio Silva is an unreal coup of a signing. I can't lie, that is mad. Their depth up front is mad, but I don't know if that was really even an element that they needed to strengthen on in the first place. Going forward and for the future, the guy will be incredible for them. But they've already got up front the strength of Adama Traore and Jota and Podence and Jimenez, obviously, as well. I've probably forgotten somebody else. They're already sick there. They probably needed to improve a centre-back more. They've brought in that Brazilian guy from Lyon, who I think can play there. But they've also sold Doherty, which is going to be a bit of a miss. Vinagre probably isn't good enough to step in those shoes. They're linked with Maitland-Niles, but apparently he's not going to leave anymore. I think they'll have a very strong season again, but I think they'll just fall short again. Ahead of those guys and getting into the Europa League spots, though, in my opinion, is going to be Everton. And I think a lot of people have been predicting this. The midfield signings they're on the brink of making are incredible. They've already signed Allen. It looks like Doucouré and James Rodriguez are going to be announced very soon. As a midfield three, that is one of the better midfields in the whole division. Genuinely. It's not like on the level of City or Liverpool, obviously, but I think there's a strong case for, at this moment in time, that being a midfield as good as, if not better than Arsenal's. On top of Carlo Ancelotti being the manager, he's a serial winner. They've got some very good players elsewhere. They might be one more consistent centre-back away from getting into the actual Champions League argument. Genuinely. But as it stands, I think they'll finish in P7. Tottenham, all or nothing, the young Jose Mourinho. We've learned a lot about them, but I still think they're going to finish 6th. And I kind of don't want them to finish that low. It's really difficult. I think, honestly, there's 3 teams that are so interchangeable between 4th and 6th. And quite frankly, I don't know. I think just, it's really difficult. Even right now, I'm doubting it because the one thing I think, and it's very evident from all or nothing, that Jose Mourinho hates about the Tottenham side as it stands is they're too nice. And he's brought in Pierre Højbjerg, and he's probably going to bring in Diego Costa. That sort of shithousery is going to level that out and create a bit more of a bad boy character in the changing room, which is exactly what they need. They need that steel and grit, and he will probably deliver that to them. Doherty will be a lot more solid at right back than Serge Aurier. They've been quietly very good in the transfer market. Joe Hart is another bit of experience in the side. He's won a lot of things, not everything there is to win, but a lot of stuff. I don't know, I kind of want to cheat and just say they'll finish equal 4th with 2 other teams, and maybe instead Jose Mourinho will break his 3rd season duck and deliver Champions League football for them then. In 5th place, I'm going to go with Manchester United, which leaves a very interesting choice for 4th that you may have already worked out. I don't have faith in Manchester United's backline. This will change, and I will promote promote them to 4th if they genuinely bring in a very solid centre-back and Reguilon at left-back. If they do that, along with Van der Beek, who they've obviously signed in this window too, at that point, I think 4th. But right now, as it stands, no Jadon Sancho joining as well. That would have changed things too. They're just too much of a top-heavy side. I don't think they have any balance in midfield. Van der Beek is a hard worker. He can play as more of a defensive midfielder, but when you've got Pogba, who will do no defensive work, and Fernandes, who will do no defensive work, you need a midfielder that's going to do all of the defensive work, not be like a little bit tempted to go forward and get involved in attacks like Van der Beek is so useful at doing. Statistically, I know they kept bare clean sheets with De Gea in goal and Maguire and Lindelof at the back. I just don't have faith in them. I don't have faith in Shaw at left back either, which means that in P4, I think the top 3 is pretty cemented in terms of the teams there, but 4th place is going to be Arsenal. I know, that's my biggest punt, I think. That and Leeds finishing in the mid-table. You've got to throw something in the mix. You can't just be boring. Arsenal might not be a banter club this year, and I'm not just basing that off the Community Shield, although that is a little bit of it. I was genuinely very impressed by them. I was very impressed by them post-Corona. The problem that they had was that there were certain players letting them down, namely centre-backs, your David Luiz's and Mustafis that kept them in that banter club bubble. But as a team with actual fight, I saw more than I ever saw with Unai Emery. It was more the personnel just wasn't very good. They brought in some solid centre-backs. William Saliba obviously has come back from his loan now. Gabriel, who I previously called a midfielder and got bare slack for it in FTW. I didn't even mean to do that. I actually knew he was a defender and fully just said the wrong word. But anyway, yeah, he will hopefully provide some solidity for them. I just think they have an identity now. They seem to play very nice football. They honestly look so good. Apart from when their fitness let them down against us, they were really honestly very, very good to watch. Arteta ball could be the one. It does, however, rely on those young centre-backs coming in and improving things, and they may well not do that. So you are potentially looking at Gabriel and Saliba, or even Pablo Mari starting, and with a lack of experience, that could be their one downside. Into 3rd position, we got Chelsea. I mean, they've had the best transfer window of anybody in this whole league. The progress that Chelsea will make with the signings of Werner, Ziyech, Chilwell, Kai Havertz, Thiago Silva, Malang Sarr. It's unbelievable. Obviously, Thiago Silva is a very short-term signing, but it's so clever because he's going to provide, probably, would imagine, a bit more stability where they were so bad in defense before. But it's experience. Like, Thiago Silva has been there, done that, won everything, I think. Has he won a World Cup? I don't think he's won a World Cup. He could teach the likes of Tomori and Zuma so much. Chilwell will be solid. I mean, it can only be significantly better than Alonso. Havertz is a generational talent. Werner is better than Abraham. Abraham is a good backup and provides a different element. It'll probably be the end of Batshuayi. He's linked with West Brom. If he went to West Brom, I may actually put West Brom 18th if he went there, but we're not talking about West Brom. We're talking about Chelsea. It's mad, and I think they will challenge for the title up until the latter stages. I just don't think defensively they'll be quite at it just yet. And also, they've got to blend all these players together. And that can be a difficult task when you've got 5 new players coming into the starting 11, which leaves the top 2. Will it be Manchester City or will it be Liverpool crowned champions? In my eyes, it will be Liverpool. So I'm putting Manchester City in 2nd. And I know you can call me deluded because I'm a Liverpool fan or whatever. And it's a little bit hypocritical for myself because I'm saying based on how we stand now, that's how I'm going to judge other teams. But I genuinely do believe 100% we will sign Thiago Alcantara, and I think that will be the difference. It's not like United, who have only just been linked with Reguilon, like, in the last week. Like, I just do honestly think we are going to sign Thiago. If we don't, I think we'll finish 2nd, but I think we are going to, and I think therefore we'll win the league. City are going to bring in Koulibaly, probably, and again, I'm including him in this. They've already signed Ake as a good backup left-sided centre-back. Ferran Torres as well will be good depth. They just need the spine of that team replacing soon, I feel. Fernandinho is aging. Still brilliant, but he's not on the level of Fabinho, in my opinion. I think Fabinho is the better player right now. Fernandinho has probably had the higher ceiling. He was honestly incredible 3 years ago. They need Koulibaly to be what everyone thinks he is because of his FIFA stats in reality to what he actually is. Because whilst he will improve that centre-back slot massively and alongside Laporte could be a really, really good back too, I think people do overhype him a little bit. A little bit. But equally, one big reason, in my opinion, why City finished 2nd last year, I've said this many a time, is that because Laporte was injured for 6-7 months, whatever it was. I think if he starts every single game of the season, they push us a lot closer. Another spanner in the works is, will Man City focus on that elusive Champions League? Because honestly, Personally, I know it's going to sound really deluded. I know. Please don't kill me for this. I think Pep is genuinely under pressure if he doesn't win the Champions League this year. I know everyone paints the Champions League out as this easy thing to win, but with the most expensive squad ever assembled in human history and by some distance, you should be able to at least get to the semi-finals in 4 attempts. And he hasn't done that yet. If he doesn't do that again this year, honestly, whilst winning the Champions League is not the only thing he was brought in to do, I honestly think he's under pressure. So I don't know whether he'll maybe try and focus on that. He does love to overcomplicate things and focus his attention in certain areas where maybe he shouldn't and just go full guns blazing at everything. I think it'll be very close, much closer than last year for sure. But I do think that Liverpool are going to win the league. I think, I'm not going to lie, 50%, maybe, no, not 50%, 40% of this is a little bit out of hope as well. Not just expectation. But we were so good last season. The only thing I would say is that complacency definitely looked to come into things at the end of last year. We missed out on getting 100 points criminally. Pre-season, we've looked a little bit shaky. The Arsenal game, the same. You can't read too much into that, obviously. But I am a little bit concerned that momentum at the end of last season may carry into the start. That's the only worrying thing. But again, freshen things up with the signing of Thiago Alcantara, a midfielder who can really just play through the lines rather than being box to box and provide a lot more creativity that everyone bashes Wijnaldum for not having. Those are just my opinions. Don't grill me for it. I'm expecting some hot takes in the comments. Let me know what you think is going to happen for the Premier League season ahead down in that comment section below. If you enjoyed this one though, slap a like on it, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Don't forget to join my fantasy football league. The code is on the screen again. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves and goodbye.